All right, let's dive straight into this explainer. Today, we're cracking the code on the daily routines of self-made millionaires and looking at exactly how everyday people end up building extraordinary wealth. Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to get richer and richer every single year, while others work just as hard, if not harder, but never seem to get ahead? Well, we're unpacking the fascinating data from a comprehensive study to reveal the 15 habits that actually lead to lasting wealth.
It's so easy to look at the ultra wealthy and just assume, oh, they're geniuses, or they were born into money, or they just got insanely lucky. But the source data tells a completely different story. When you do a deep dive into the backgrounds of these individuals, you find out that a ton of them started with totally average jobs, average incomes, and completely average backgrounds.
What
So,
exactly
exactly are they doing differently to escape the trap of staying stuck? Let's look at the numbers.
After analyzing the daily habits of 100 self-made millionaires, again, folks from average backgrounds, a pretty surprising truth emerged. Wealth is the result of highly accessible, honestly, kind of mundane routines. There's no magic formula here. The data showed people were Fortune 500 CEOs or tech founders. A lot of them were teachers, engineers, or mid-level managers. There's no secret investment, and there's definitely no hidden shortcut. Reaching millionaire status is fundamentally about the daily decisions you make. It's about actions that are entirely within your control. Now, 15 habits is a lot to take in at once, so to keep things simple, we've broken this explainer down into 4 logical phases: building your foundation, playing financial defense, executing financial offense, and finally, hitting those ultimate multipliers. Starting right off with phase 1, the foundation, which is all about your mindset and your time. Look, before you can build a massive portfolio, you absolutely have to build the mental framework to actually sustain it. That foundational mindset requires looking 10 years down the road instead of panicking about what's happening today. Notice how average investors get entirely consumed by what the markets are doing this week? That almost always leads to really expensive, highly emotional decisions. Millionaires maintain that 10-year view. Plus, they're absolutely obsessed with continuous learning, reading, taking courses, finding mentors, because they know knowledge compounds exactly like money does. Add in a carefully curated network of folks who normalize investing and building businesses, and success really starts to leave some obvious clues. Now, this right here is a massive paradigm shift. Most folks are completely fixated on what does this cost in dollars, but millionaires, they're obsessing over what does this cost in time. It's a crucial distinction. The average focus keeps you trapped in this endless cycle of trading your hours just to get on something. The millionaire focus, on the other hand, empowers you to delegate low-value activities, skip those pointless meetings, and automate whatever you can. By prioritizing time over dollars, they free themselves up to focus exclusively on the highest impact actions that actually move the needle.
Okay, moving right along to phase 2, playing financial defense. Because let's be real, making the money is only half the battle. Keeping it is where the actual challenge begins. The crucial point here is that wealth requires being surprisingly frugal. You have to know exactly what you earn and owe, dodge those high-interest consumer loans like the plague, and really resist the urge to upgrade your entire life every single time you get a raise. It's fascinating, because pop culture constantly portrays wealthy people as just blowing money nonstop on luxury goods. But the data shows self-made millionaires face reality head-on. They track everything because you literally can't improve what you don't measure, and they actively dodge the trap of lifestyle inflation. They don't immediately run out and lease a luxury penthouse the second their paycheck goes up. They increase their investments way before they increase their lifestyle.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. This is the absolute core of financial defense. It's ridiculously simple, right? Actually, scratch that. It's simple to understand, but man, it is hard to execute. If you spend every single dollar you make, it literally doesn't matter if you earn 50 grand or 500 grand a year, you're still entirely dependent on your next paycheck. That gap between what you earn and what you spend, that is the exact oxygen your wealth needs to grow. A huge piece of that defense is knowing exactly what kind of debt you're dealing with. Bad debt takes money straight out of your pocket, whereas good debt is a calculated tool used to acquire assets. Millionaires are incredibly fiercely protective of their financial flexibility. They look at high-interest credit cards and financing luxury purchases as toxic wealth destroyers. But they aren't afraid of debt at all if it's strategically deployed to buy an asset. Whether that's a rental property or a business, using someone else's money to generate more income than the cost of the debt itself, that's a total game changer.
Now that the defense is locked in, let's switch gears to phase 3, financial offense.
You can't just clip coupons your whole life and expect to get ridiculously wealthy. At some point, you've got to put that capital to work. Financial offense means you aren't just cutting expenses. You're taking educated risks, building up resilient multiple streams of income, relentlessly increasing your earning power, and making ownership your #1 priority. Sure, cutting unnecessary spending is vital, but there's a hard floor to how much you can cut. There is, however, virtually no ceiling on how much you can earn. Millionaires focus heavily on negotiating salaries, building side hustles, and taking calculated risks when the odds are actually in their favor. And there's a massive difference between a calculated risk and a reckless gamble. Reckless is dumping your life savings into whatever crypto coin is trending today. Calculated is starting a side hustle with a few $100 you can afford to lose while you test the market. Fundamental shift in financial offense is moving away from an employee mindset, where you're entirely dependent on a boss and a job, to an owner mindset, where assets like index funds and real estate generate income for you while you're literally sleeping. This is the shift that changes everything. An employee is always asking, how can I get a slightly larger paycheck? An owner asks, how can I acquire more assets? Whether it's stocks, digital assets, or real estate, acquiring things that hold and generate value is the ultimate offensive play. Just look at how this plays out. When the market tanks, the average investor absolutely panics. When the headlines get scary, they sit on the sidelines and wait. But millionaires, they invest, invest, invest. They are never sitting around waiting for the perfect opportunity. They understand that consistent, totally emotionless investing beats trying to perfectly time the market every single time. Month after month, year after year, they just keep buying assets. They let compound growth do all the heavy lifting instead of trying to outsmart global economic cycles.
Which brings us to our final act, Phase 4, the ultimate wealth multipliers. This is where we get into the stuff that turns basic financial literacy into long-lasting generational wealth. Delayed gratification. It might literally be the single most important superpower of the 100 millionaires in this study, because true wealth is built slowly by choosing investments over immediate entertainment. It is incredibly difficult today, in this age of instant delivery apps and infinite scrolling on your phone, to not want everything right this second. But the self-made millionaires in this study actively choose to sacrifice today for a significantly bigger reward tomorrow. They invest their capital instead of blowing it on fleeting trends. They spend their weekends building businesses instead of binge-watching TV. It's this specific ability to delay the dopamine hit that creates an insurmountable advantage over time. And here's the curveball, the 15th habit. It's not about stocks or real estate at all. It's prioritizing your physical and mental health. Exercising, sleeping, managing your stress. Why? Because your body is the engine powering all of your productivity, and poor health is an incredibly expensive wealth destroyer. This really caught my attention when analyzing the source material. You might be wondering, what does sleeping well have to do with my bank account? Well, if your engine breaks down, your earning power completely plummets. Medical bills are expensive for sure, but lost productivity, lost energy, and lost time are even more costly. Protecting your health is quite literally protecting your greatest wealth-generating asset, which is you. So, zooming out, the ultimate takeaway from all this source material is that no single habit is going to magically make you rich in isolation. Wealth is just the inevitable result of these small, disciplined behaviors combining and compounding over decades. The actual secret to wealth isn't a massive windfall. It's step 1, making a small, smart decision, like setting up an automatic transfer to your brokerage account. Step 2, repeating that exact same behavior consistently for years, no matter how boring it feels. Until finally, step 3, compound growth takes over, and your money starts making its own money. It's literally just disciplined behavior repeated long enough for the math to work in your favor. Since this explainer clearly proves that your financial destiny is shaped by your daily habits, not your background, not some sheer stroke of luck, the only question left to ask yourself is, what action are you going to take today? The future version of you is being built right now. Are you going to start tracking your finances? Are you going to pump the brakes on your lifestyle inflation? Or maybe you're going to finally start studying that new skill to boost your income. Pick just one of the 15 we've explored today and start building that foundation. Thanks so much for joining me to decode the millionaire mindset. Remember, building wealth isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about making the right choices until success becomes inevitable. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.